What if we've been looking at Cardi B and Offset's drama completely backwards? Imagine this. While the internet dragged Offset for cheating, what if Cardi was out here doing the exact same thing and did it first? In a twist no one saw coming, Megan Thee Stallion just dropped a lyrical grenade that may have blown the lid off one of the messiest love triangles in hip-hop. And the real shocker? She didn't just allude to betrayal. She seemingly called out Cardi B for creeping with Megan's ex, Pardi. Yes, that Pardi. Suddenly, the icy tension between Cardi and Megan makes a whole lot more sense. And now, fans are connecting the dots in ways that could shake up Cardi's public image and her already fragile past with Offset. This isn't just a rap beef. This could be the final nail in the coffin of multiple relationships and careers. Let's break it all down. Megan Thee Stallion didn't just drop a new track. She launched a lyrical missile. Her latest single, Whenever, didn't just get fans hyped, it set the internet ablaze. From Twitter to TikTok, the drama was instant. The beat is heavy, the flow is venomous, and the lyrics? They read like a diary of betrayal, secrets, and silent warfare. And now everyone's asking the same question. Is this about Cardi B? Because Megan's not just rapping, she's unloading. And she's doing it in a way that's razor sharp and way too specific to be random. Let's start with the most controversial bar that has the streets talking. Said you write your own raps, but your pen been missing / got a ghost on the track, and now you playing victim. That line alone sent shockwaves through hip-hop Twitter. Megan's not naming names, but it doesn't take a genius or even a casual fan to connect the dots. For years, there's been one female rapper constantly under fire for ghostwriting allegations, Cardi B. Ever since her breakout with Bodak Yellow, rumors have followed her like a shadow. Critics, and even some peers, have whispered that her verses are more factory-produced than self-penned. Cardi's dismissed them, but she's never silenced them. And now, Megan's cracking that door wide open. But she doesn't stop there. Another explosive lyric reads, "Linked with my ops, now you screaming / but was quiet when I took the hits." Now that line cuts deep. Because if you followed Megan's career, you know her timeline is littered with betrayals and industry cold shoulders, especially after the Tory Lanez shooting. During one of her most vulnerable moments, when the industry should have circled around her, there were some suspicious silences. Some fake love, some strategic alliances. And fans couldn't help but notice that Cardi, once a loud supporter, got real quiet. Even worse, Cardi was suddenly seen rubbing shoulders with Megan's enemies. Not just staying neutral, but cozying up to people who made it clear they didn't ride for Megan. And in hip-hop, that's not just shady. It's a declaration of war. Hanging with your ops isn't networking. It's sending a message. And Megan just sent one right back, with bars. They love the style, the flow, the beat I bring / but sneak diss me and bite the very hand that blinks. At this point, Megan's not just dropping a diss. She's writing a public indictment. And if the ghostwriting accusations weren't enough, she's also taking credit for influencing a style, the flow, the presence, the delivery, that others, conveniently, now were like it's theirs. Megan's suggesting she's the blueprint, and someone else is cashing in without giving her due credit. Now let's talk history. This isn't a beef born yesterday. The cracks in a Megan-Cardi relationship have been showing for a while. Remember WAP? The collab that broke the internet? It looked like a female rap unity moment on the surface. But behind the scenes, the vibes were reportedly icy. There were whispers of forced PR chemistry, creative disagreements, and even tension over who really carried the song. Megan may have played the game for the cameras, but that tension never really cooled. Then came the strategic silence. When Megan was under fire in court, when she was dragging herself back in the spotlight bruised but unbroken, Cardi wasn't vocal. No, I stand with Megan. No, protect black women. Just silence. But that silence was loud. And now, Megan's returning the favor, with bars sharp enough to slice reputations. The final dagger? When it's time to write, you on vacation / but when I drop, you need explanation. Megan's not mincing words. She's calling out the difference between rappers and performers, between pen and playback. And while she doesn't drop a name, Every lyric drips with implication. Because who else has faced ghostwriting allegations, mingled with Megan's enemies, and tried to claim the throne without doing the heavy lifting? Only one name fits that profile like a glove: Cardi B. And if you think this is just about a song, think again. This is bigger than a diss. It's about credibility, about loyalty, about who's real in the booth and who's riding waves they didn't create. Megan's drawing a line in the sand, and with whenever she's daring anyone, Cardi included, to step across it. And that's just the beginning. Let's rewind to 2020, the year when Megan, Thee Stallion, and Cardi B set the entire internet on fire with WAP. That collab wasn't just a cultural moment. It was a declaration. Two of the hottest female rappers, united in their prime, shutting down beef rumors and showing that women in hip-hop could work together without drama. At least, that's how it looked on the surface. The visuals were flashy, the bars were bold, and the message was unity. But now, in light of Megan's new lyrics, fans are looking back at that glossy collab with suspicious eyes. Because somewhere between the release of WAP and today, that sisterhood went cold. No follow-up collabs, no social media love, not even birthday shout-outs, which in celebrity circles is basically a silent unfollow. And it's not just the absence of support, it's the timing. Megan's lyrics about betrayal, ghostwriting, and so-called friends siding with her enemies aren't random. They point to a specific kind of betrayal, not from an outsider, but from someone who once called her sis. Someone who was there when the cameras were rolling, but nowhere to be found when the heat turned up. Fans are now asking, what really happened after WAP? Because according to the timeline, things got icy not long after Megan's very public fallout with Partisan Fontaine, the same man who just so happens to have ghostwritten several of Cardi B's biggest hits. And suddenly, those new lyrics about disloyalty and writing frauds feel a lot more personal. Now, here's where things get messy. Behind the scenes, whispers have been swirling for months that Cardi and Pardi may have had some kind of connection before Megan and Pardi split. Whether it was innocent friendship or something more, no one's confirming anything, but the suspicion is thick. And if Megan caught wind of any flirtation or double-crossing, that would explain the lyrical heat she just dropped. Because this might not just be about clout or pen games. It might be personal. It might be about heartbreak, humiliation, and the quiet kind of betrayal that hurts more than public beef ever could. So now fans are wondering, was Pardi the real wedge all along? Did he not only ghostwrite for Cardi, but ghost Megan's trust in the process? And did Cardi knowingly cross that line? Or was she just caught in the crossfire of two people whose breakup turned nuclear? One thing is clear, whatever sisterhood Megan and Cardi once had, it's long gone. And if these bars are any clue, there's no love lost between them now. Just silence, tension, and a whole lot of smoke still waiting to rise. Now let's get into the mess that is everyone clutching their pearls. The alleged love triangle between Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and Partisan Fontaine. Because the streets and the tweets are talking, and the tea is anything but lukewarm. Here's the timeline that has fans raising eyebrows. Megan and Pardi were together for over 2 years. Public, proud, red carpet ready. He wrote love poems. She called him her man. Then, out of nowhere, the breakup hits, vague statements, deleted photos, awkward silence. And right on the heels of that split, Cardi start popping up just a little too close to Parti's orbit. Now to be fair, Parti's not just Megan's ex. He's a heavyweight ghostwriter. He penned bars for Cardi B on some of her biggest tracks, including Be Careful and Up. Their professional history is no secret, but it's the timing that has fans squinting. Because if Cardi and Pardi were just collaborators, why did Megan start distancing herself from Cardi right after her split with Pardi? That question has launched 1,000 think pieces and even more tweets. One fan posted on X, "If I found out my friend was still working with a man who embarrassed me publicly, yeah, I'd cut her off too." Another wrote, "Y'all act like Megan's overreacting, but imagine finding out your homegirl was playing nice with your ex behind your back. That's betrayal 101. But not everyone's buying the scandal. Some fans are defending Cardi, saying there's no evidence she crossed any lines. Cardi and Pardi been working together before Megan even got with him, one user tweeted. She shouldn't have to stop her bag because her acquaintance broke up with him. Another added, y'all want every woman to beef over a man. Maybe it's just business. Not everything is shade. Still, others aren't convinced it's just business. They point to subtle clues. Cardi posting cryptic lyrics about knowing the real story. Pardi liking tweets that seem to shade Megan, and that eerie silence between two women who once proudly called each other queens. The court of public opinion is split. Is Cardi a snake in the grass, or just a woman caught in the crossfire of a messy breakup? Did Pardi cross a line by working with Cardi after Megan, or was that line already blurred from the beginning? Either way, fans are side-eyeing everyone involved, and the suspicion has cast a long, dark shadow over what was once one of hip-hop's most celebrated female friendships. Because in the world of fame, loyalty, and love, someone always ends up the villain. While the spotlight's been locked on Megan's fiery lyrics and Cardi's shady silence, there's another voice echoing in the background, and it's none other than Offset. Because whenever Cardi ends up in hot water, Offset always seems to jump in with a cryptic message that fans can't help but dissect like it's a hidden verse. Let's take it back. Remember last summer when Offset got on Instagram and straight up accused Cardi of cheating on him? Not subliminals, not likes. He went full scorched earth, claiming his own wife was unfaithful, even hinting it happened while she was pregnant. And sure, he walked it back later, but the internet never forgets. Especially not when patterns start forming. And that's where things get darker. Longtime fans have never stopped whispering about the real reason Offset lashed out. Some believe he was reacting to something deeper, something he saw or heard behind the scenes. Enter the takeoff rumors. Way before Megan and Cardi ever fell out, the fandom was buzzing about an old, uncomfortable allegation that Cardi had been too close to Takeoff at one point, Offset's own groupmate and blood cousin. It was never confirmed, never proven, but it lingered like smoke. Enough to spark tension within Migos, enough to make fans wonder what kind of chaos was really going down behind closed doors. So when Offset accused Cardi of cheating, and when those posts disappeared just as fast, the public couldn't help but wonder if he was trying to protect himself from exposing too much. Maybe even protect her. Or maybe, just maybe, he was tired of being made out to be the only villain. Now flash forward to Megan's latest diss. She's not just calling out ghostwriting. She's accusing women in her circle of betrayal, sneakiness, and moving grimy behind the scenes. Lines like, "You was cool with my ops while smiling in my face," hit different when you remember Cardi allegedly stood by Tory Lanez during his case. But they hit even harder when you add in the Offset factor. Because what if Megan wasn't just talking about rap games and fake friends? What if she was hinting at the exact kind of shady behavior Cardi's been accused of before? And suddenly, this isn't just a rap beef, it's a full circle moment. A pattern. A messy track record of blurred lines, blurred loyalty, and blurred boundaries. If you ask the internet, Megan didn't just start this fire. She lit the match on something that's been smoldering in the dark for years. And Cardi's past might finally be catching up to her. When Megan dropped her lyrical bomb, the streets waited with bated breath to see how Cardi B would respond. And boy, did she deliver. Not with a diss track, but with a full-blown emotional rant on X Spaces that only raised more questions than it answered. Cardi sounded off in a voice note that quickly made the rounds across social media. No names were dropped, but the timing, tone, and trembling voice had everyone clocking the subtext. She rambled about always being the bad guy, how she don't got time for fake energy, and how people love to turn fans against each other. But what stood out most? Her insistence that she was staying neutral. "I'm not picking sides," Cardi said. "I'm not beefing with nobody. I got love for everybody." But let's be real, fans weren't buying it. Because how do you stay neutral when the other girl is clearly airing out betrayal, and you just happen to fit the mold? One fan tweeted, "You don't have to say her name. The guilt is all in your voice." Another said, "Cardi sounds more like someone defending themselves after getting caught, not someone who's actually innocent." And that's the core of it. Cardi's tone, the quiver, the deflection, the long pauses between words. This wasn't the brash, confident Cardi fans are used to. This was someone who sounded cornered. Emotional. maybe even exposed. She tried to flip it back on the fans, calling the speculation toxic and blaming the internet for trying to create drama. But that only made things worse. Because if there wasn't a deeper issue, why not just say it straight? Why not directly deny Megan's accusations and move on? Instead, Cardi played coy, and in doing so, confirmed the very thing she was trying to avoid: suspicion. At this point, it's not about whether Cardi swung back with a diss track. It's about the silence, the sidestepping, and the strange energy that's turned her from victim to villain in the court of public opinion. Because if you have nothing to hide, why does your voice shake every time someone brings up your name next to Megan's? As one fan perfectly put it, if the shoe doesn't fit, why are you limping? While the internet's been busy dissecting lyrics and side eyes, Cardi B might be out here making silent moves, and one name keeps popping up in the rumor mill: Stefon Diggs. Yes, that's Stefon Diggs. NFL wide receiver, fashion killer, and now, possibly Cardi's rebound? Let's rewind the tape. It all started with whispers. Fans noticed that Cardi had been spending an unusual amount of time in cities where Stefon just happened to be playing. First New York, then a suspicious overlap in Miami, and that's when the real receipts started rolling in. Just weeks after Cardi and Offset's latest public fallout. You know, the one where Offset aired her out for allegedly cheating. Cardi was spotted in a dimly lit Miami nightclub, tucked into a VIP booth, right next to Stefon Diggs. Now, were they cuddled up like prom dates? No. But were they sitting close enough to spark headlines? Absolutely. One blurry photo showed Cardi leaned in, laughing at something Stefon whispered. Another showed their security teams coordinating. A classic move when celebs want privacy, but not too much privacy. Then came the club videos. TikTok started surfacing showing Cardi and Stefon at the same afterparty, mere feet apart, both avoiding the cameras but never straying too far from each other. And if that wasn't enough, Stefon posted a cryptic IG story the next day, a boomerang of champagne glasses clinking, captioned, "Vibes undefeated." Cardi, hours later, posted a nearly identical champagne glass on her own story. No caption, just a wink emoji. Coincidence? Fans don't think so. And here's where things get extra messy. While all this Stefon speculation has been heating up, Cardi's social media presence with Offset has turned ice cold. No posts, no comments, no cute couple moments. It's like he vanished from her life and her camera roll. Even on Offset's birthday, she said nothing. Not even a passive-aggressive tweet. Silence. Compare that to the Cardi of just a year ago. The one who'd hop on IG Live to defend her man, curse out trolls, and post love notes after every argument. That Cardi is gone, replaced by someone who's showing up solo, staying booked, and getting photographed looking unbothered in designer fits at Stefon's favorite haunts. Is it a real relationship? A rebound? A PR distraction? No one knows for sure. But fans agree on one thing. Something shifted. And if Stefon Diggs is the new man in Cardi's life, she's playing this one a lot cooler and a lot more calculated than she ever did with Offset. Because sometimes the loudest move is no move at all. Just a sideline smirk and a new man with a six-figure contract. Just when fans thought Cardi B might be stepping into her soft girl, post-Offset healing era, the universe threw a plot twist no one saw coming. And this one's dripping with irony. Because after weeks of speculation about her alleged new flame Stefon Diggs, the NFL star is now making headlines for all the wrong reasons, and it's got fans screaming karma at the top of their lungs. It all started with a set of viral Instagram pics. A woman, not a celebrity, not an influencer, just a regular-degular baddie, posted cozy, late-night selfies from what fans quickly identified as Stefon's apartment. The decor matched previous posts down to the artwork. She tagged no one, but the caption? A slick little, "He likes his eggs over easy cooking," followed by a heart emoji. Oh, and guess what time it went up? Hours after Stefon and Cardi were allegedly spotted together at a lounge in LA. Fans didn't waste a second connecting the dots. Side-by-side comparisons of the woman's photo and Stefon's apartment from previous interviews were all over Twitter within minutes. One post read, "This the same man Cardi's been sneaking around with? And he's already moving sloppy." Another went viral with just 3 words, You lose him how you get him. And just like that, the narrative flipped. Cardi went from possible heartbreaker to maybe being played again. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. After everything with Offset, the cheating scandals, the public apologies, the emotional roller coaster, fans were hoping her next chapter would be different. But now, the streets are asking if Cardi's love life is cursed. There's even a growing theory. Cardi isn't just unlucky, she's drawn to chaos. Look at the pattern. Offset. Then rumors she was vibing with Diddy during his most scandal-ridden era. Now Stefon Diggs, a man who, despite the charm and the fame, has a known track record of juggling women on and off the field. It's giving same script, different cast. Some fans are defending her, saying it's not her fault and that she deserves grace. But others are more ruthless, suggesting Cardi might be addicted to the adrenaline, that she only knows how to function in a relationship when there's a fire to put out. One tweet summed it up perfectly. Cardi B don't date men. She recruits future scandals. So where does this leave her? Publicly, she said nothing. No sub-posts, no tweets, no shade, which for Cardi is very telling. When she goes quiet, the storm is either brewing or she's trying to save face before the next explosion. Either way, fans are watching closely. Because if history's taught us anything, it's this. When it comes to Cardi's love life, peace never lasts long, and chaos is always one DM away. Just when you thought this Cardi B and Stefon Diggs situation couldn't get messy, the internet went full CSI. And baby, what they found is turning curiosity into full-blown concern. Because once fans started connecting the dots, an old clip resurfaced, and it's not flattering. It's a viral moment from a past NFL interview where one of Stefon's own teammates, on camera, mind you, was asked who he'd never trust with his girl. Without hesitation, he said Stefon Diggs. Then he laughed, but he wasn't joking. The rest of the locker room cracked up like it was some big inside joke, but the subtext was loud and clear. Stefon has a reputation, not just for making plays on the field, but off it, with other people's girlfriends. That clip, which had been buried in sports Twitter for months, suddenly exploded again. Fans are reposting it everywhere, now with Cardi's name slapped across the captions. One tweet read, "Sis walked away from Offset's chaos and walked straight into Stefon Diggs?" "Girl," another added. At this point, Cardi sees a red flag and says, "Let me redecorate." And that's the question nobody wants to ask, but everyone's thinking. Is Cardi B ignoring every red flag again? We've seen this movie before. Offset wasn't subtle. The cheating, the DMs, the public embarrassments, they were all out in the open, and still, Cardi stuck around for years. Now here comes Stefon. Charming, famous, good-looking, and already surrounded by cheating rumors, cryptic posts, and teammates literally warning the public on live TV. Which raises the next uncomfortable truth. Maybe Cardi doesn't have a bad picker. Maybe she has a type. The flashy, unpredictable, emotionally unavailable type. The kind who makes you feel like the only woman in the world one day, and a screenshot in someone else's IG story the next. It's not just messy, it's familiar. And fans are torn, so want to protect her. Others are frustrated. But the loudest voices are the ones saying this. If Cardi's going to keep choosing chaos, then maybe we should stop being surprised when it all goes up in flames. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about Stefon's character, it's about Cardi's pattern, and whether she's ready to break it, or just replay it in designer heels and tinted car windows. As Megan's new track continues to set the internet on fire, not everyone's nodding along in agreement. In fact, the reactions are split straight down the middle. And it's exposing a deep fracture in hip-hop fandom. Because while some are clapping for her lyrical smoke and calling it a well-deserved comeback, others are side-eyeing the entire rollout, questioning Megan's timing, her motives, and even her truth. Let's be real. Ever since that courtroom drama and the fallout that followed, Megan's credibility has taken hits from all directions. Industry insiders, former friends, even her own fan base at times. Some people feel like this new diss track is more about settling personal scores than spitting actual facts. Others think she's milking old drama for attention, especially with Cardi and Nicki beef simmering in the background. Is it strategic timing, or a last-ditch attempt to stay in the headlines. And let's not forget the internet never forgets. Clips of Megan publicly denying beef with Cardi just months ago are making the rounds again. One post went viral with the caption, "Didn't she say it was all love? Now she's throwing jabs?" Somebody lying. Another user added, "Megan's talking tough in lyrics, but quiet when it counts." We remember the silence when things got messy. But here's the twist. Rebuttals are already brewing. Word on the street is that both Cardi and Pardi, yes, the X, have music on deck, and they're not holding back. If the whispers are true, this summer could turn into an all-out lyrical war, where no one's image escapes untouched. And let's just say, if names start getting dropped in full, the polite shade we've seen so far will look like child's play. And that leaves one haunting question echoing through the fandom. Who's really playing who here? Is Megan reclaiming her voice or rewriting the story? Is Cardi a victim of loyalty or a silent strategist waiting for her moment? And what about Pardi? Was he the pawn, the player, or the poison in the whole equation? One thing's for sure, the truth isn't trending. But the drama? It's just getting started.